Hello everyone. This video is on market structure and in particular perfect competition market structure. And so we're going to be using market structure to try to tie all of the other concepts in microeconomics that we've covered in class, such as supply and demand, elasticity, costs. We're going to tie them up in the concept of market structure. Now, basically, market structure is a measurement of competition, and it tries to evaluate the level of competition in a particular industry. And I like to put market structure in a broader context, and that broader context is the market environment. And so think of the market environment with three components. One component is market structure. Again, it tries to measure it's a measurement of competition within an industry. Another element of the market environment is conduct. That's behavior. Now, behavior could be anything from pricing to how much advertising a firm does, or how much is spent on research and development as a percentage of sales. It could be something as superficial as how you dress. This is all an example of conduct, and conduct differs between industries, and conduct can change within an industry. And then the third element of the market environment is performance. And of course, one very common measurement of performance is profit, but you could have many different types of measurements of performance. It could be market share, it could be total sales, revenues, it could be non-profit oriented, it could be customer service. These are all measurements of performance. So structure, conduct, and performance, they make up the market environment. Now, this sometimes is referred to as the SCP model. SCP, structure S, conduct C, performance P, SCP. And what the market structure says is what the SCP model says is if any one of the three elements of the market environment changes, the other two will change. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing our attention on market structure. If market structure changes, how does that affect conduct and performance? And so you could see the three elements, SCP, structure, performance, conduct. And we're going to be discussing the feedback loop, which is when one element changes, the other two change. Now, some of you are familiar with Porter's five forces. And Porter's five forces is a way to anticipate a change in market structure, which of course is to anticipate a change in the market environment. So the model is useful because it helps understand the strength of your competitive position and competitive environment. So here's your current position, and Porter's five forces gives you an idea to look in the future to see what the future holds. So again, let's look at the five elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you look at the competitive rivalry within in an industry, that looks at who you compete against, and it deals with microeconomic concepts like game theory, production functions, returns of scale, and this is a measurement of your current situation by looking at your direct competitors. Another element of Porter's five forces, right here, see, bargaining power of suppliers, that looks at the supply chain and who's supplying you in terms of your raw inputs. Game theory is also part of this. This is also a look at your current situation, but it's looking at from a supply and demand point of view, primarily supply. What about threat of substitutes? Well, that looks at things like demand functions. What could cause your demand curve to shift? Well, if new people hop into the industry, or you think that your customers may think of another product as a possible substitute, And this looks at your current situation, but this is a more look at indirect competitors. Again, this is direct competitors, this is indirect competitors. What about bargaining power of buyers? This looks at the demand function. It looks at certain costs, elasticity of demand. This is your current situation based upon demand. So this is supply, this is demand. Now, what about this? Threat of new entrants. This is the one that that looks at what could happen if people hop into the industry. This is your future. So these four deal with your current situation. The threat of entrance is a future situation, and this is what we're trying to predict. If people come into this industry, that's going to change your market structure. If your market structure changes, conduct and performance within that industry will change. Now, in this PowerPoint, I have a nice, very short audio from the McKinsey Quarterly that talks about the history of the SCP framework. I highly recommend that you listen to it. So, market structure. Think of market structure as a spectrum that measures competition. Technically, market structure measures concentration, and concentration is a proxy for competition. But I'm going to, from this point on, just say competition. And you could see moving along this line, let me give a little pointer. Do I have a, I'm going to draw a little pen here. So think about this line that goes like this. Ooh, that's supposed to be a straight line, by the way. And when you move this way, competition increases. And when you move this way, competition decreases. Now, this one, market structure, there is no competition. So competition is completely gone. Here, well, you can tell by the name, perfect competition. This is the highest level of competition in terms of the most intense. Now, everywhere in between, we call it imperfect competition. So this area right here, come on, where's my pointer? This area right here is what we call imperfect competition. So let's take perfect competition first. Now, perfect competition has some characteristics. And these characteristics are, in this industry, there are many, many firms. And all of them are very small in terms of market share, and they're producing a homogeneous product. The product is identical, standardized. And each firm is a price taker. Now, what does that mean? That means the market sets the price, and every firm has to accept that price as given. They have no ability to affect market price. And the factors of production are perfectly mobile in the long run, meaning people can come in and out of this market. There's free entry and free exit. Now, keep in mind, there are some firms that come close to these characteristics, but nothing really fits them perfectly. So, um, and there's perfect information here. So you can see this is kind of uh, unrealistic. But since this firm is has no market power, their customers are very, very sensitive to price changes because there are so many competitors and they're all producing identical goods. If this firm just charges a little bit higher than the market price, a little higher than 18, they'll sell nothing. And so you could see, let me just draw this again. If I were to draw a supply and demand curve, let me just draw this. Boom, oops. Let me make the pointer again. So this is supply. Now think about this demand curve right here. That's a demand curve. This is price and this is quantity. Um, if we wanted to make these customers more sensitive to change of price, I would make this curve a little bit flatter, and that shows you that consumers are more sensitive to change of price. So as the curve gets flatter and flatter, they become more and more sensitive. Now, what is the extreme? Well, the extreme is simply a flat demand curve, as you see right here. This demand curve is flat. And let me try to erase this. Erase. Erase, go away. And you could see that this demand curve is perfectly flat, and as a result, these customers are very, very sensitive. So this is the curve for the perfect competitor. Now, if I wanted to draw this and show you how this is established, what I would do is I would first draw the supply curve and the demand curve for a market. This is the perfectly competitive market. Now over here, I would draw right here. This is equilibrium price, right? And this is equilibrium quantity for the entire market. So let's say the price is $10, and the equilibrium quantity is 1 million. Now this establishes the price for this individual competitor, and you could see that the demand curve is going to be flat, so price is $10, and this firm takes the price as given. So again, this is where the firm establishes the price in the market, and the individual firm has to take it as given. And that's what you see right here. Let me just erase this. Go away, go away. Okay, so now go back to here, laser pointer. What we're going to be doing is we're looking at a marginal cost curve. Here we have an average variable cost curve. What you don't see here is the ATC. That's important too. But what we're going to be doing is think about the marginal cost as the firm's supply curve. So here's supply, and the demand curve here is flat. So as you know, supply equals demand, that shows you equilibrium quantity, or it just shows you what this firm will produce. And you can see it's going to be producing 7.4 units. So if you're a perfectly competitive firm, how do you maximize profit? Well, this graph is going to show you that profits are maximized where output, where the difference between total revenue and total cost is the greatest. So you can see how output is increasing, right? And we see how as you increase output and you sell them for the same price, revenues increase at a very predictable rate. That's total revenue. And your production is going to generate cost, and this is your total cost. And you could see between 0 and 4.7, revenues are below your costs. And this is why if we're tracking profit, this is profit right here, you can see profit is negative. It's below 0. And as you increase output beyond 4.7, you can see now revenues are greater than costs, and you can see profit is increasing. Profit's above 0. This is 0 profits right here. And you can see profits reach its maximum right here at 7.4. And that's the greatest distance between your total revenue and total cost. So between 133.2 and 120.6, that's your total profit. And that's going to be right here. So, but how do you know you've reached the output rate that maximizes profit? Well, there's a special rule called MR equals MC. So here's how it goes. You keep producing up to the point where the last unit has a marginal revenue equal to its marginal cost. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how we apply this.